Today I'll show you how to make my homemade French fries. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, I'm Joe, and today I'm going to show you how to make my homemade home fries, French fries. So let's get started. I'm going to use one whole potato per person. So I'm serving 3 with this, so I'm going to use 3 potatoes. We're going to peel them and then we're going to cut them. And we're also going to use a cookie sheet, and I'm going to line that with aluminum foil just to make cleanup a little easier. And then we're going to use a large bowl. And for the seasonings, we're going to use extra virgin olive oil, Parmesan cheese, garlic powder, oregano, onion powder, paprika, salt, and pepper. I went ahead and I sprayed my aluminum foil with some cooking spray not to help the potatoes not stick. If you want to brush some oil on the aluminum, you can feel free and do that, but I just prefer to just spray it with cooking spray. I peeled and washed the potatoes, and now I'm going to cut them into strips. So you can, depending on how you're serving them, you can dice them or cut them into evenly squared pieces, bite-sized pieces. Because I'm using these for a dinner, I want them to be more like fries. So that's basically what you're going to want it to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all these up, and once I get them all cut up, they're going to go into this bowl right here, and then we'll add the seasoning. So I've been making these potatoes for quite a while now, many years, and it's just a recipe that I started to play around with. I didn't really find it anywhere, so I just kind of added the seasonings that I liked to it, and I didn't really use any type of formula, whether it was like a half a teaspoon or anything like that. The thinner you make them, the quicker they're going to cook on the grill. Or you can put, if you don't own a grill, or if you don't want to grill them, you can put them in the oven. I'd say probably put them on 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. Okay, so now the potatoes are cut into the pieces I want, and now it's time to add in the spices. So first I'm going to add in the olive oil, extra virgin Greek olive oil. And as I mentioned, I don't really use a formula, so I just pour the olive oil over and enough. I'd say it's probably a quarter of a cup of olive oil. After I do the mixture, if I feel that they're not coated enough, I'll add a little bit more. Okay, and then next we're going with onion powder. And I just sprinkle the onion powder just so that it kind of puts a topping on it. So if I had to guess, I would say it's probably a half a teaspoon of onion powder. And the same thing with oregano. I just kind of sprinkle it over the top so it leaves a coating. Probably a half a teaspoon of oregano. And then we got the garlic powder next. Same thing. And then paprika. So the paprika, I just put a little bit of paprika on. Very tiny amount, a pinch. But then I tuck that aside because we're going to use that later on. Same thing with the salt and pepper. I'd say the salt and pepper, it's probably a quarter of a teaspoon of pepper, and it's not a lot of salt. I don't usually use a lot of salt, so it's probably about the same thing, maybe a little less than a quarter of a teaspoon. And then we're going to add the Parmesan cheese on top of that, and that's probably about 2 tablespoons worth of Parmesan cheese. But we're going to save that. We're going to tuck that aside as well for when we get everything onto the cookie sheet. So now we're just going to mix this up so that it's mixed up very well. And then that's when I'll be able to tell if I'll need to add some more olive oil to this or not. So everything looked good. Now what I did is I just poured the French fries, the potatoes, into the pan. And I'm going to spread them out in the pan so that they're spread out fairly well. Now obviously if you have more potatoes than I have, you either can use a bigger cooking pan. It's okay if they're tight. You know, they don't have to be spread out. If they're tight, that's okay. The only thing is if they're tight, you just want to make sure that halfway through cooking, you go in there and you mix them around. Otherwise, you're going to have some really crispy and others not so crispy. And the trick to these is to make them really crispy. And that's how they're good. So everything looks okay. I'm not going to add any more olive oil. But I am going to add, I'm going to sprinkle paprika on top. And it's just a sprinkle, as you can see what I'm doing. It's not a lot. And then I'm also going to sprinkle some Parmesan grated cheese on top as well. And that, again, it's just a sprinkle. It's not a lot at all. It's just a dusting of it. More or less flavor crystals is what they are. So that's it. That's our potatoes. And now you're going to put them in the oven, a 400-degree oven, for about 45 minutes. Or you're going to put them on the grill. What you do on the grill is if it's a 3-burner grill, you just turn them down to low, medium, more like on the lower side, and you pop these right on the grill. What I usually do is I take the aluminum foil and I layer another sheet of aluminum foil underneath, and I take this aluminum, put it on the other aluminum, and put a little cover on them, but don't close it tight, and I put it right on the grill. And that will stay on the grill for about 45 minutes as well. All right, so I got a hot grill going here. And I doubled up on the aluminum foil. And I'm gonna put them on the top rack. And that's it. You can tell that they're almost done when they get golden brown around the edges. So these have about another 5 to 10 minutes, and these are all done. Okay, our potato fries are all done. Kim is going to try them.
Kim didn't even know we were doing this. They're good. I like when you cut them when you do the smaller potatoes, like the chunks.
The home fries?
Yeah.